Your grandpa told you all about him, and you young bucks don't know nothing about that. See what Wilt Chamberlain accomplished on this day in 1965. See what has LA Clippers owner Steve Ballmer so fired up that he can't contain himself. The future of Clippers basketball is looking brighter than ever. And AB gets released by the Raiders days before the season is set to kick off. See why John Gruden had enough of the star wide receiver. Who is going to take a chance on AB? Coming up. Good afternoon and welcome to Full Sail Live. On this day in 1965, Wilt Chamberlain dropped a stat line that will make you think it was for a week's worth of games. At Hershey Arena in Hershey, Pennsylvania, the Philadelphia Warriors beat the New York Knicks by a score of 169 to 147. The game was not televised, and there is no video footage of the game, only audio. The stadium was at half capacity that day, although ask anybody who was local, and they'll tell you they were there. With the league struggling to compete with college ball and other professional sports, this was a day to never forget for Wilt and the NBA. Chamberlain broke 5 records that day, including most free throws in a game. He was a below average free throw shooter, so that statistic stands out. The two teams combined for 316 points, which became the most points in a single game. Wilt averaged over 50 points per game in 1965 and had already broken the scoring record once in that season when he dropped 78 points, respectively. That game will always be a sort of legend, as there were minimal fans in the stands and no members of the New York press were in attendance. The closest any player has come to 100 points since is Kobe Bryant when he dropped 81 in 2006. The record is considered unbreakable by many. There are games that go by nightly in the NBA in which an entire team doesn't score 100 points. With the league not considered a major sport at the time, and even struggling to compete with college basketball, the greatness of this game could not be recognized for years to come. Tech tycoon and billionaire Steve Ballmer purchased the Los Angeles Clippers in 2014. Former owner Donald Sterling made several controversial, racially fueled comments that became public. After tough times, the team has announced the signing of NBA champion and MVP Kawhi Leonard. Additionally, they made a trade for All-Star Paul George as well. The team hopes to contend for titles in the coming years, and their owner couldn't be more excited about it. He had a hard time containing his excitement at the press conference. Coming up, what is Antonio Brown's future in the NFL? Has John Gruden seen enough of the star wide receiver? Also, Carolina Panthers linebacker Luke Kuechly announces his retirement from football. See why Kuechly and other NFL stars are deciding to hang it up earlier, why it makes sense, and what we can learn from it coming up. It looks as if Antonio Brown has worn out his welcome with the Raiders faster than anybody could have imagined. The team announced today that they are cutting the receiver and voiding his contract. After an offseason filled with negative off-the-field storylines, the team's management has had enough. Head coach John Gruden expected Brown to make a much-needed boost to his team's offense this year. AB's non-football related activity right now is just too much for the organization to handle. The issues began in March when it became known that Brown had suffered frostbite in his feet during a therapy session. The all-pro wide receiver then filed multiple grievances with the league about not being able to wear a helmet he had worn in previous seasons. The NFL has changed its policy on helmets, and Brown lost all the grievances he filed. After a verbal disagreement with Raiders GM Mike Mayock, it appears the relationship between team and player was no longer salvageable. He did not hide his excitement about being released on social media. Brown is now a free agent and can sign with any NFL team. Luke Kuechly is widely regarded as one of the most talented defensive players in the NFL. The 28-year-old linebacker has made the Pro Bowl in 7 of his 8 NFL seasons. Kuechly has recorded concussions in the 2015, 2016, and 2017 seasons. After long thought and weighing his options, he decided those injuries were too much. He cited only knowing how to play as hard and physical as he always has. It has become more common to see players retire before their prime. You have to trust that players know what is best for them and their families moving forward. Best of luck, Luke. After the break, can Justify snag the Triple Crown at the Belmont Stakes? After an average showing at the Preakness, does he have a shot? Also, Robert Kraft issues his first public statement since being listed as part of an investigation into a day spa in Florida. See why the Patriots owner still may be in hot water after his spa day.